Al.
Jay, you
Hey,
there?
what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good, brother. How you doing today?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Good, my friend. Good. You sound good. I can hear you. Why don't I open the show and we're going to have a great time?
All right, man. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, everybody. I'm back. Another episode of the No Cover TV podcast. That's right. I'm your host, Big Al, and I take that original, local, and national music scene and shove it in your face. Sometimes I smack you up a little bit because you need to hear it. All genres, all age groups, everywhere and around the world. It is amazing the music that's coming on the podcast. And our podcast, No Cover TV, we get to the story, we get in the musicians' heads, and it's up to you to go check out the music. And you need to check it out because there's some great stuff out there, great artists. Like I said, all genres. And this is blowing me away. Even the kids out there nowadays making me look bad. And I like that. But that's cool. It's real cool. So, anyways, use my three favorite words: support, support, support these artists. Go to the shows, pay the cover charge if there is one. Get the swag, CDs, DVDs. Albums are coming out. Buy the T-shirts, the coffee mugs, the hats, everything. Go to the shows and support these artists because they do it for the love of what they do, and they love to put a smile on your face. Yes, indeed. So we've got a great show for you today, and looking forward to this one. We got a hell of a guitar player coming in the house. Well, he is in the house. You're not at the table. We're doing a remote here. Jay Luke is in the house. Jay, brother, how are you doing?
Hey, Al. Thanks for having me, man. I'm doing all right.
Good, man. You just got done with a gig, didn't you?
I did. It was yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know where you located out of, Al.
I'm in Michigan.
Michigan. All right. I'm in Pennsylvania, and yeah, I had a gig at a casino. uh,
Oh.
like an outdoor like patio kind of thing. And man, the weather was pretty brutal, so it was a tough gig.
Hold on to your hat. Yeah. That's great.
Wow,
Whereabouts?
it's funny. It's funny you said that because I was wearing a hat and it literally blew off. So yes.
Did it really? That's funny. Yeah, I lived up in the Poconos for years and I love it out there. I do.
Oh yeah, man, that's really close to where I was at. Actually, it's funny.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I lived on Lake Harmony up there by the gallery.
Oh wow, it's incredibly close to where I was at. That's really funny.
Okay, well, I was probably there then at one point in time. That was in the 80s.
Yeah, right on.
So we got a lot to talk about, my friend. You are an
Yeah.
amazing guitar player. I
Oh
mean, rock and roll with an edge with a little punk I'm hearing in there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
My goodness. And where am I going to start with you? My God. You're amazing, for one thing.
Well,
Uh,
thank you.
I'm looking at my guitars hanging here, and I just want to put my head down. You're making me look bad. No. So, anyways, before we get to this and have some fun, uh,
Yeah,
I take everybody in the time capsule. I need to know a little bit about you, okay?
yeah, man. Mm.
All right. Well, I want to take you back to young, hmm, 10 years old.
Okay.
All right. What are you listening to?
10 years old. I'm not sure what grade that would put me in, or if that's
I
even in
need
a grade. Um, but I'll say this: like, I was I guess the first generation of that MTV kind of thing.
I
When I
know.
was really small, that was like we both were raised together. I know that it was brand new channel, and I was like basically just born almost, and I lived in front of that station, just trying to learn everything I could as far as music and everything. So early on, I was, my mom loved the Rolling Stones and my dad loved Led Zeppelin.
Mm,
So in between those two influences, I found my own through MTV, and those influences would have been Van Halen or
mm.
Kiss, all of like the classic rock bands, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Van Halen was a huge one for me, probably the biggest growing up. So
That,
that would have
that,
definitely been what I was listening to for sure.
I love the Monster Ball and the things like that. I mean, I graduated in '83, so I was a little older during that. But
Right.
I was the classic, person with a Kiss and Zeppelin and AC/DC, all that stuff. But it
Yeah,
was cool,
Def Leppard was really big back then too. Def
yeah,
Leppard, Pyromania.
yeah, the Ozzy, Judas Priest, all those great artists. Yes,
Oh
indeed. And
yeah,
then to see them do these videos, that was just something else. That kind of made me laugh because you go to see them in concert and then they're doing these stupid videos.
right.
So
Well, it's so funny because at the time the videos were like, "Wow, how cool is this?" And you watch them now, it's like, "Oh my god, who let us do this?"
oh yeah, the 80s. Woo!
Yep.
So okay, so you liked quite a bit, but when you were getting older into 16, 18 years old, did you know in your heart you wanted to be in the music business someday or at that point?
You know what? Even then, from very young, I knew it was like the thing that I loved more than anything, and I just had to like kind of learn how to play and
Yeah.
whatever because like rock music was everything to me, and in a lot of ways, like while I sat in front of a TV or whether I was absorbing everything through magazines or something, I just like filled my head so much with all of this. I don't want to say it's useless knowledge, but kind of until the internet and Google came about, like I was a literal musical Google. I was like I'd always be getting weird phone calls at 3 in the morning, like asking, who is Ozzy's guitar player in this year and stuff. Like it'd be settling bets for people while I'm at home.
That's great.
But yeah, like I think, but to be fair though, like I started taking guitar lessons really young, and
Okay.
I was put off extremely uh or probably by the second or third lesson where it was like this guy's not teaching me how to play Van Halen, and I and I want to and I'm out of here kind of. So like I realize how dumb that sounds now, but because I was like so into like why can't I play Hot for Teacher, this is ridiculous.
Oh, right,
um
right.
so
Uh,
so all of these years go by, and probably right around the time when you said maybe about 14, I think I said, you know what, I'm going to give this another go. So I bought another guitar, and I kind of taught myself, and uh, I was remember like playing along to the cassettes and stuff like that, and not really knowing what I was doing, but I just played until I like kind of figured it out, and that's been my way ever since.
well, that's great. I think a lot of us were that way. I was just kind of the same way. I went to like 4 or 5 lessons, and it was like, "What is this? This isn't what I want to learn." So
Right.
yeah, yeah, I quit. Yeah, of course. Do you remember the first song you learned on the guitar? Was it your own or was it somebody else's?
Oh well, here this is probably why I'm the most backwards person you might ever spoke to. I figured if I could learn the most difficult thing, then everything else would be easy. So I went for Eruption by Van Halen.
No way.
and and now it's so backward because I learned that, and then I said, okay, I got it, and now I could learn how to play chords and stuff. Like not even knowing that I was such a novice idiot that there's chords clearly in that in that epic composition, but yeah, most people like clearly would work up to that, and I just learned how to play that and really focused on it like crazy hard.
Wow.
um and then yeah, after a while, I think after right immediately after that was like Crazy Train by Ozzy,
There you
and then
go.
Black Sabbath songs, and once you get that, you're kind of like that's the roadmap, you just
It
kind of.
is. It is actually, like you say, a roadmap. Definitely. That's a lot of fun. So, when did you, get to the point where you're getting pretty prolific with the guitar, playing lead and stuff?
Uh, it's still, I don't really believe I'm that. I know my way around the guitar, but I think there's always room for improvement. But I think around 2003, after playing for so long by myself, we started a group, and I remember saying to myself, like, I could stay in this room forever, or I could, get out and start doing shows.
Right.
And I think that was the time where it was like, all right, buckle up because I'm going to do this now instead of talking about it or,
Hmm.
whatever. So probably from then on, I kind of just took it a lot more serious than most people, I think, and it's funny when you have that mindset where you're so serious about your craft or whatever that like sometimes friends will be like, "Hey man, let's go out and jam or something." And like for me, I can't just do that. You know, it's like this is my life, man. You know, so I have a hard time just not letting go of it or whatever, but just like treating it like it's not the most important thing in my life. You know.
Right. I understand. I understand. So about 2003 is when you started off getting it together and playing out and putting music together, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now I notice here this is amazing. What, 400,000 streams since then?
Well, my
Or more?
first album didn't even come out till 2017, I believe. So, all between 2003 and that time, I had a band, and I kept saying to myself, like, look, we got to get this together so we could go in the studio and record these songs.
Mhm.
And what would happen is that, like, you just being in a band is so difficult because it's like being married to like four other people,
Right.
and everyone's trying to. I always say everybody's trying to grab the steering wheel and drive you in a different direction. So
Hmm.
um, we kept losing a member, and in my head, I was like, if we don't have the right lineup, then we can't really record this. So we kept losing people. Anytime we got steam or momentum, we kept something bad would happen, and I finally said around, after waiting around way too long in 2016, probably, I said, you know what? I'm just, I got to put this to bed, guys. Like I'm
Okay.
waiting and waiting.
Right.
And I want to, I mean, like it's kind of a joke. I've been, playing for so long and I have literally nothing recorded, professionally at least, anyways. And I went right into the studio, and from then on, it was like the greatest freedom I've kind of ever known. It's like I started a solo career where I didn't have to count on these other guys. Like if I counted on anyone else, it would just be whoever's going to come in the studio and hang. And
That's cool.
yeah, and the whole vibe of it, it just like opened my eyes to how relieving and fun it could be rather than stressful and chaotic, trying to
Right.
trying
Right.
to hold together stuff that it was like you could see something is headed for a divorce, but you're hanging on to it out of safety or something like that.
Yeah, you have that freedom to create. You don't have that responsibility of other people's problems and things like that. And
Yeah, and I mean it's just been a really cool thing, and I kind of tell all my musical friends like uh a lot of them tell me like I should do this and that, but I don't have a band, and it's like you don't need a band especially nowadays, just
no,
the studios are so cool, what I mean, you just get something together, and they'll help you out or whatever you
yeah,
have to do,
you-
but I always encourage people to just get out and do it.
yeah, it'll come together if that's what it's meant to be. Or you get a great studio engineer, producer, and they can put it all together for you. Oh yeah,
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I hate to even say this, but that whole AI thing that's going on now, it's like it's terrifying for most
Mhm.
artists. It's like
It is.
I'm like pouring my heart and soul into stuff, and like there might be a 7-year-old kid next to me who's like going, "Oh, I write songs too," and 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 all they're doing is like talking into their phone, asking their phone to write a song, and it's like, oh my god, this is the world now.
Yeah, robots and AI, I do not like.
Yeah, well, the other thing that's ironic about it all is like I'm a musician, of course, but I'm also a graphic designer,
Yes.
and in both of those professions, AI is destroying the world. It's like my whole living and whatever is like being taken
Dude.
away by AI.
Oh, God, and that sucks because we need, I'm a skilled tradesman. We need skilled trade people that, like yourself, that do, we don't need damn robots and computers to do our work for us. No,
No, no, you don't.
and play music especially.
Right,
Not
right.
at all. Not at all. Okay, so we're up in the 2017s. How now when you're writing all the music and stuff? Now, are
Uh-huh.
you play the guitar? Any other instruments you add? Or are you bringing in studio musicians or friends of yours to help you make your albums?
Well, here's what happened on my first album. I was so, like I said, frustrated at the scenario I was in with the band.
Mhm.
I was like, I've kind of I know so many people in the local scene, and I actually knew a couple people from the national scene that I said I'm gonna go and have these songs written, and I'm kind of gonna have like who was the guy who had the album? I think it was Carlos Santana, who just had like a parade of guests on his one
Oh,
album, and that was kind of like my first album. I
okay.
had I had like almost all of the people I looked up to or got on with pretty well come in and like do a guitar solo or some kind of spot in the album, and a couple of people I actually looked up to pretty much as far as like being a kid. And there's I'm not sure if you know, there's a band that was called Man of War.
I
uh
remember. Yes.
well, the drummer of that band, the first drummer of that band, played on my first album for a song named Carl Kennedy,
Wow.
and yeah, and a guitar player named Adam Baum, who man,
Ah,
his resume is insane. He's played with everybody, but like I really looked up to him a lot, and to get those two on my first album was like, wow, how cool is this?
oh, that's cool. I mean, even Michael Monroe from Hanoi Rocks.
Yes, that's my all-time biggest hero is that guy. So that Adam Baum, played with him, and a lot of cool stuff.
That is cool. And we're going to get to some other people that you graced the stage with. But now you're working on what, your fourth solo album?
I'm gonna be getting into the fifth one.
Fifth one.
I put out the fourth one on in October.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's so funny that it's only a couple months really, but it seems
Right.
like, how the way the world is now, it's like old news. So,
Okay. Now, each album, different musicians.
for the first album, it was a bunch of different musicians, and really from the second one till now, it's kind of been a pretty steady lineup. And I know you
Okay.
mentioned, the guitar. The kid who's been playing the lead guitar for me is named Michael McDonald, and he goes by a nickname Duds. And
Okay.
he has been like this superpower, on the albums.
Wow.
So yeah, basically, I write the songs and the structure and everything, and man, he comes in and blasts these leads that are just ridiculous.
Damn kid.
No, well, I keep saying kid. He's not really that much younger than me, but yeah, he's an incredible player, and
Wow.
so it's cool. I mean, like, there's really no set formula for how to write or whatever, and I just like me and him work together really well, and I
Nice.
appreciate him.
Cool. Now, when you do your albums, is there a certain studio you use or a different studio every time?
Same studio. It's called JL Studios, and actually, the guy who runs it plays bass on all my stuff, and he's probably the most consistent guy on my albums. I think there might have been like one track where somebody else played bass, but he plays bass on everything, so he's like my dude.
Sweet.
Yeah, Joe
Nice, nice.
Loftus. I got to give him a yell. His name is Joe Loftus. Great dude.
There we go. Joe Loftus. All right. We got Joe out there. So definitely now tell everybody in podcast land the platforms they can find your music.
Um, Boy, this is a hard one. I mean, the obvious ones are Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, Tidal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Pandora, like basically anywhere that you could stream. I'm
Oh,
sure that we're on there.
good
It
deal.
it's weird, like what's cool about modern time, I guess, is that like you used to have to really go crazy to get your music out there, and now it's like instantaneous. So I'm sure we're in places that I'm not even aware of.
Right, right. It is pretty cool nowadays. I mean, back then it was open the trunk and see what you could do.
Right. I mean, like I always look at the double-edged sword aspect of it, where it's like it used to be so hard to even get a record deal or anything like that, because the evil people that were in the record industry would either pick you or like tear your soul apart if they picked you sometimes. and
They pretty much will,
and
yeah.
they and they leveled the playing field with the internet age now, so that like anybody could put an album out, but the only danger of that is that everybody's putting an album out, and
Everybody is, yeah,
yeah, so like the market is incredibly flooded, and
so
a lot of
saturated.
yeah, a lot of people ask me, and it's a really hard question, is that like, how do you make it, or what is making it, and really you got to think to yourself, like, what is making it,
Mm.
I found the most inspiring story of recent times, anyways, as far as the making it part, was a musician. I think she was from the '70s, Kate Bush. She had a pretty good career, and it's not that she stopped making music, but just like kind of like really set back a little bit. And there was a TV show called Stranger Things. It was on
Yeah,
Netflix.
yeah,
And they said when they were writing like whatever season it was, like, we got to get in touch with Kate Bush because we really want to use her song. And I guess she was kind of like pretty reclusive, and she wouldn't, let people
oh,
use her stuff. And they personally wrote to her and said, like, Kate, it would be really cool if we could use your one song because we built like a whole scene around it, and it would mean a lot to us. And I guess she said yes. And
cool.
what was crazy about the whole story is that like the record company in the '80s, I guess, kind of said like, give her rights to her stuff if that's what she wants, but we don't need her anymore, kind of.
Oh,
So
geez.
so, I mean, she probably already had pretty decent money stashed away, but all of these years go fast forwarding, and then she allows this one song,
Hmm.
and that one song exploded. It was already like kind of a hit for a long time ago, but it became the literal biggest song in the world because of Stranger
Wow.
Stranger Things. So, I mean, when people ask me how you make it, I think that's probably the most inspiring story, because I mean, here's a lady who the industry kind of took and then gave back and said, if she wants her rights, then fine.
Right.
So they didn't count on, she's probably making millions of dollars every week now. And
You don't know. You never know who's
yeah,
out there. Who's
no.
check.
And that's the craziest thing, is like a lot of people aren't even making money from music. And yeah, and this story came out of like left field, just because Stranger Things picked up that song and it blew up like crazy. So
That's cool. That's real cool because it is hard to make money in this business.
it is.
Yes, or to be
And
full time and quit your day job. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to, toot my own horn or anything, but I do get some royalties, and I'm not buying a car or anything like that with them, but
Yeah.
it's nice to at least get a little something. But yeah, I can't even imagine the scale of what, that lady was getting. That's crazy.
Oh
So
yeah.
so it's like something
Imagine.
at least that's like on my radar to like not give up. Like, you never know, because that song was probably 40 years old, and it just kind of resurrected from the dead to become the biggest song in the world. So
That
you never
that's
know.
really cool.
Yeah.
No, you don't ever know. Now, I was looking on your calendar. You're booked up for the summer from April to December. Pretty
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. I try to do a show. I'm probably doing a show a week, at one or two every week.
Okay.
And
Now, is it acoustic or
yeah,
with the
I
band?
do. The majority of my shows are acoustic shows.
Okay.
Because it's me and that guitar player I mentioned, and
Yeah.
trying to find a steady lineup. I didn't want to lose my mind trying to lose a steady lineup. So if we could
Right.
do a show like we did play at the Cutting Room in New York City.
Oh,
God, it was probably last year now. I kind of can't believe it's been that long, but yeah, we actually opened up for that guy. I mentioned that his name is Adam Bond, the guitar player.
oh yeah. Nice, nice. Now, I see that you graced the stage and worked with what, Duff and Richie Ramone and Joey Belladonna from Anthrax too, huh?
Yes, yes, that was
That's amazing, brother.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, man.
That they're all cool, but Duff, it's funny when you mentioned earlier who was I listening to when I was a kid. Uh, I I I can't really tell you any other band to me that when I was young that just like kind of came out and exploded like dynamite, and just man, they were just the most intense thing was Guns N' Roses. That first album was just so monstrous. And
Appetite for Destruction. Shit.
Yes, it was just like maybe the most perfect rock and roll album, you know. Uh, so I remember when that came out so well. I'm thinking to myself because I was still in grade school, and it was when we all had cassettes,
Oh
and
yeah.
somebody always had like the bootleg cassettes, you know, and that one came around, and I remember taking it home and listening, and it was like, oh my God, I felt like I had to like hold covers over my head, and if my parents heard what the hell I'm listening to, I'm gonna get in trouble because this is so dangerous and badass, you know.
It is. Welcome to the jungle, Mom.
Oh man, I just can't say enough about that album. But yeah, like so for me, all those years later to actually open up for a guy from Guns N' Roses, I was like, holy hell, man,
That's
this
cool.
is the
That's
greatest
really
thing in the
cool.
world.
That's cool. That's really cool. Now I see and I'm going to bring this up. You are with running for an award with the ISSA.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I've been voting for you, brother.
Yeah, same. It's funny because like you get into the routine or whatever, and yeah, I know. Like towards the last page, you're right on top, and yeah, man, I get you every time. So I
I
hope that
appreciate
hopefully
that.
we all get a win and we can all meet up in Atlanta.
That'd be great. That would be a good time. Oh God, me going up to the podium and grabbing an award in my mouth. Oh yeah.
Right, right.
Oh yeah. I'll be kicked out. No, anyways. All right, let me get to some fun questions here. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay. Now you've worked with some amazing people in your own band, and like I said, Duff Ritchie and Joey and stuff. But two artists, one alive, one that has passed, that you really, really wanted to grace the stage with and perform with?
Ooh, okay. One that's alive for sure. I'm a huge fan of the band Hanoi Rock. So the
Oh
name
yeah.
Andy McCoy, the guitar player who kind of like wrote everything. I
Mhm.
love that guy. I think he's such a inspiring musician as far as like how he plays and everything that they did as a band.
Oh yeah.
So him for sure. The dead one. Oh man, David Bowie would be a good
Oh,
one. I would say David Bowie probably.
oh yeah. David. Okay. Liking that. Good deal. All
Yeah.
right. We got a few more here. All right. This has had to happen. You've played too long with people and stuff. Embarrassing moments on stage. Anything screw up, fall, drop, you drop, anything
Oh,
happen?
geez, just today. I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you a funny one about today. I was
All right.
playing at a big outdoor situation there at this casino, and outdoor things are tough because the weather's brutal. You're always at its mercy. So I set
Right.
up all my stuff, and I think the news was there, and a couple other things were there, and people are taking pictures and stuff, and I'm like, all right, I think I got everything pretty cool because I'm my own manager and everything. You kind of have to do
Right.
all your own stuff. So I'm like, I think I got it set up pretty cool if they take some pictures or whatever, and or if it's on the news. And like I turned my back for a second, I think, and all of my stuff blew over. Like literally everything blew over. And I'm
No.
like, oh my God, you're kidding me. And like in the hat, my literal hat
In the
blew off
hat.
my head because the wind was crazy. I'm like, oh my God. In literally 30 seconds, everything just went crazy here. So yeah, that was today. But yeah, on a bigger scale, I remember one time I had this like guitar pedal in my old band where I don't know. I would switch from like a clean sounding channel to a distortion channel, like from a rhythm to a lead sort of thing.
Right.
But I was unaware that if you hit the two buttons at the same time, it would loop. So out of all of the time I've been playing, I never hit the two together. But I'm on stage once and I break a string. While I broke a string, I hit the two buttons at the same time.
It
So it
looped.
just sounded like I can't even, emulate the sound, but it just sounded like total chaos. It sounded like a bomb going off or something. and I had to like go behind the amp and literally unplug it because I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
You're right. Just unplug it. That's the best
Yeah,
thing.
it sounded like some weird siren going off. It was crazy.
It's fun, man. You got to recoup and go on though.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah. I
funny.
had to like unplug it and then say, "All right, guys, we have to restart the song or whatever."
Restart. Oh man. Okay, that's cool. Okay. Next question. All right, you get, two answers on this. Anywhere in the world, what stages would you like to perform on?
Ah.
Hmm.
Oh boy. Well, one that's not there anymore. That I always wished I could have played on was CBGB's in New York.
Yeah.
But there's a place in Finland I would like to play at called Tavastia,
Hmm.
and I'm not gonna rule that one out, man. I'm hoping that someday that
Yeah.
happens. But on like a bigger scale, I think there's a place in Colorado called Red Rocks.
It's a beautiful place.
That's like a dream. That's a dream venue. So probably
Oh,
that.
yeah. Yeah,
You know.
you'd love that. That's a cool place, Red Rocks. Great acoustic, great stage, everything.
Have you been
Um,
there or no? I've never been
oh
there.
yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that
great.
seems
Yeah,
like total winner there.
it is. It is definitely. And I get a lot of people that say Red Rocks, which is cool, or Madison Square Garden, definitely.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Of course.
so, all right, let's go to a couple more here, and we've got other things to chat about. All right, okay. Whether you're playing with the band or doing an acoustic show, when you get set up and you're either standing or sitting, and you hit your first chord and start playing, people start moving towards you, start moving a little bit. Maybe they're dancing, maybe
Mhm.
they're singing your songs to you. Well, it's got to bounce back and hit you in your heart. How's it make it feel?
Uh, I'll tell you, there's one thing that you might not be making millions of dollars off royalties and stuff like that, but there is a certain feeling of spiritual wealth that
Mm,
comes when you see people singing your own songs. Like I can't say enough about the way that that makes me feel, at least,
yeah,
because even like a good thing about nowadays, how we said you could put an album out and it's instantly all over the world. Like as soon as you put it out, and there's people in places of the world that you may never get to that take to your music, and it's like, wow, this is so cool. So I'm just that's the one thing I'm so grateful for,
yeah,
that places and people I may never meet really are into the stuff I'm doing, and obviously the people that are in front of you and the people that you
right.
know and stuff like that. That's awesome. I'm not discounting that either, but
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it stays with you. And you always remember it, no matter how long it was. Definitely, I remember those times, and
yeah.
it definitely makes your heart glow, and you got to kind of get choked up a little sometimes.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like the new album I put out is really like a pretty personal album, and I, it was like almost like wondering if the fans would understand what I was trying to do, and yeah, it really turned out to be something else. So that like we've kind of gotten press on almost every continent, but Antarctica, I think so. Uh, yeah, so it's been pretty cool to just see that people are into what you do too.
Nice.
So,
And I see you're getting a lot of radio press and podcasts and things going on. That's real cool.
yeah,
Yeah, you're getting your music out there, and I noticed you got quite a few fans loving you too, brother.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
man. Trying my best, dude.
No way. So, all right. And now I got a fun question here. This is just for us. I don't ask anybody this question here. Me and you have a our player out there that we kind of idolize, both of us. Yeah.
Okay.
You know who he is. Three-letter name. Okay. Ace Frehley.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah. So, oh my God, Ace. Yes. Well, all right. I'm going to throw out three songs. I want to know your favorite of the three. We're
Okay.
going back to the Alive album.
All right.
Okay. Black Diamond, 100,000 Years, Cold Gin.
Oh man.
I knew I was
Wow, this might
hard
be
one.
the hardest question of my life. Well, I know on 100,000 years he has a brutal guitar solo. It's probably one
Oh
of my
yeah,
favorites. But oh man, that's so unfair of a
I know
question.
it. I gotta get you
You know
here.
what? 100,000 years for the solo, but I absolutely love the song "Cold Gin."
Colton, you got it, my friend. There we
So I
go.
guess I probably have to go at 100,000 years just for the solo because that's some great Ace stuff right there.
Oh, it's just beautiful. I love the Alive. I still have the Alive album when I first got it back in the 70s. Yeah.
You know what's so funny that we're doing this right now. It's Ace's birthday or whatever, and I saw like because there's always a lot of controversy around them,
Yeah.
and a lot of it they put on themselves. It's like a joke
Oh,
after you
sure.
retire a couple times and come back or whatever. But you can't ever take away from those albums in the '70s, and that music was just great stuff. It was
It
just
was.
really good rock and roll.
I played the best air guitar ever back then.
Right. Uh,
Shoot.
and
But yeah, Ace came up with about a year and a half ago. I went and saw him, and I just saw him for those certain songs because he brought out a new guitar that would do different tricks for each song. So that was cool. So
right.
when Cold Gin was done, I said, "Let's go home."
Yeah.
I seen enough.
Right.
Oh shoot, that's great. I had to bring up Ace. Really, that's beautiful.
Yeah, man, he was awesome.
Yeah, he was. All right, let's talk about some of your music now. All right,
Okay.
I got some songs here that I want to know a little bit about. All
Okay.
right, Trapped in Your Cell. I like the lead in that. Talk to me about that song.
Okay. I wrote, I'm always kind of like out and about, and more and more, geez, it's almost like constant now. You'll see that, nobody is like paying attention. Like attention spans are gone, and so I remember just being so frustrated. I saw like a literal couple right next to each other that weren't talking and they were only texting to each other.
Oh Jesus!
And I was like, this is friggin' ridiculous. So um more and more I kept getting all of these instances, and it was just infuriating me kind of. So I wrote a song called Trapped in Your Cell that meant like not a prison cell, but kind of a prison cell,
Right.
meaning like your cell phone. And you see people walking down the street, or walking into a telephone pole, or maybe into traffic,
You're right.
and like nobody pays attention on the highway. It's insanely dangerous to
Mm.
even, you're always kind of worried about a drunk driver, but geez, it's more like a texting
Yeah,
driver.
text driver. Yeah.
So yeah, so I wrote the song about it, and y- most of my stuff is pretty honest and like out of certain experiences I have, and that
Okay.
was came out then, and I put it out during the pandemic, so it really took off pretty well.
Yeah, I like this song. All right, another one here. Okay, Me and My Demons.
All right, so Me and My Demons, that's the title track of the newest release I put out. Um, I I wrote this album oh, sorry, did I lose you there? No, okay.
No,
I wrote this album as a kind of like a concept album, of a person that works full time and plays all these shows, and it's deadline, stress, anxiety. You don't have any time to yourself, kind of thing, and any spare time you have is like really precious time. So
yeah.
I wrote a couple songs or whatever, and I had this song in my head that turned out to be Me and My Demons, and it was inspired more or less by me being home at like 4 in the morning. I don't know exactly the time, probably around 4 in the morning. When I got home from a gig, I had to drive really far away from, and I sat here on my couch, and there was my free time, 4 in the morning, till like 8
Little
or
internet
something when
connection.
I had to get up for work. And I'm just thinking, like, here's me. I'm just sitting with my demons. It's just me and my demons. And uh like I thought to
I
myself,
can
God
understand. It
damn, what
looks
a
like we're having a little internet in and out here, Jay.
okay.
You with me, Jay?
I'm with you if you could hear
Okay,
me.
Yeah, we're on a little internet in and out, but it's working now. Okay, good deal.
Okay.
So, all right,
So
well, go ahead, continue.
no, I was just gonna say, so that was kind of like the idea that spawned the whole album was that, like, free time is very tough, and
Mm,
when
okay.
you get it, it was just me and my demons sitting by myself.
I don't like to sit alone with my demons. No.
Right, right.
Get away. But anyways, I got my thing fired up here. I'm going to play a song of yours and we're going to listen
Okay.
to it for a second. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to play this. I
All right.
want you to talk about it. All right.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to play is I Just Want to Go Home. Here we go.
So much going on, so much further. I just wanna go home. The starry night is too delightful. I just wanna go home. The party wasn't for before I opened the door. Man, I just wanna go home. Hello, I must be going. It's my disappointment going. I love to stay, but there's just no way. I'm afraid I must be going.
We're giving a little bit of a tease there. How's that?
Very nice.
Now, I like that. Now, listen to that. It sounds like you were hanging around Richie there. That's not a love song almost.
Right.
That punk tune. Love
Uh
it.
yeah, that one. I try to not be an artist who kind of paints himself in a corner as far as a musical style.
All right.
I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's not metal enough, or that's not that's not punk enough or something like that. But like my favorite artists were always the artists that I mentioned David Bowie earlier.
All
Like,
right.
he might, one album, he might have 20 different styles and
Oh, yeah.
take a total 180.
He sure
So
did.
yeah, like I didn't never want to be somebody that gets like caught, like, no offense to them either. Like I love AC/DC and
I
I
was going
love
to yes.
and I love the Ramones, but like, you can you imagine hearing like an acoustic album of love songs by either of those guys? It'd be so unorthodox, but yeah, so I'd like to feel like I could do anything I want as far as
Yeah.
style.
You got your own eclectic.
Yeah. I don't know if I lost you, Al.
This other song here, you did it acoustically, Dead in the Water. What is that about?
Dead in the Water. That's actually a cover song, believe it or not. It's a song by Noel Gallagher of Oasis.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I caught a version of it and I said, "Oh my God, this song is so incredible." And yeah, it meant a lot to me actually. I don't know, I really related to the lyrics, so I covered it and yeah, I really enjoy that track. It's a good one.
I like that a lot. I like that. The Oasis. I didn't even think of those guys. It's been so long since I've heard them. My
Well,
goodness.
you know what? It's funny because I never really liked them when they first came out. I think it was just that I was too big into like, oh man, they're just a Beatles ripoff kind of band. And just like most things, I got into them like 20 years after they're like over with, and I was like, oh my God, I finally get this band. They're just like they don't take anything serious. They're always fighting and they're just hysterically funny. I found them to be so funny, but underneath it all, hilarious. But great music, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of the stuff most people don't hear is probably the most amazing stuff, which
Oh,
is I guess you could say that about most artists.
yeah. I totally agree. Totally agree. Two more questions here because we're at 40, almost 44 minutes, and we don't want the computer to blow up on me. No.
All right.
All right. This is, well, I don't know if it's an easy one, but it's a simple question. Label or indie? Would you sign a label, or go with a label, or do you like to be independent?
I think there's more power now in being an independent artist than there is under a label. And maybe 20 years ago that might have been a different answer, but
Right.
I don't really know truthfully like what a major label's gonna do for you so much as stuff that you almost can't do for yourself now. Like it maybe they could do a little bit more as far as like promotion or whatever, but I don't even know if that's true. I mean, like if you're really dedicated to your craft and you're always working on stuff, it's
Yeah.
gonna get out there. And I heard something that I kind of relate it to every point of my life, is that somebody said once that a brick wall isn't a brick, it's not meant to keep you out, it's to show you how bad you want something. So if you see a brick wall and you're like, oh, screw this, there's no way through it, you're never going to get through it. You kind of have to like really beat it down. And I think that's the same with literally anything. You want something bad enough, you're going to get it. So
Jay, you back?
oh, okay, I hear you. Yep.
Okay. The internet must be crazy windy out there today. Whoa.
Right.
That little blank spots there. I totally agree with you there. All right. How about the next 5 years? Where the future, where do you see yourself in 5 years with your music?
You know, I just keep doing. I'm kind of continually writing stuff, and I don't know. Like I can't predict what's going to go on with my personal life, I guess.
Right.
But I tend to be like a sponge to the situations I'm around or see. So
Sure.
I kind of write about those situations. But I can say that the momentum of these releases and just the music I've been putting out has really, really been building up. So, I mean, I hope something really big happens, as these releases go on, where, maybe a big time tour or something or
I
whatever
hope
goes
so.
on. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe the amount of, streams and all of the stuff that's come about because of this new album. So it's almost like no pressure or whatever, but you really got to do something good, Jay. So, I'm really gonna. I actually usually put an album out every year, so I'm kind of starting pretty late on this fifth one now.
Okay. All right. Well, I think
So
you're going to do very well in the future, Jay. Your music's incredible. I want you to keep pumping it out there. I want to hear the new one when it comes out. And we're going to do this again in 6 months or so.
yeah, man, let's do it.
Definitely. All right. We're at 47 minutes before the thing blows up. You got any last words for the people in podcast land?
Thank you all for listening, and to all of you who may not know me, check me out on online or whatever. And yeah, if you're in town, hopefully you'll see a show or whatever. If I'm in your town,
Definitely.
so
So if you're in Pennsylvania, check out Jay Luke. Bit out there to listen to. So that's real cool. Real cool, Jay. Thank you for your time and coming on the podcast, brother.
okay, dude. Thanks so much, man.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. I'll get the link to you in just a little bit. All right, brother?
Okay, man. Sounds good.
All right. We're out of here. Peace.
All right. Peace.